Transcendental Dancing Party. A few days later, Kirtanananda and Hayagriva came over to look at my artwork, and I also stood up from my seat of newspapers to look at it. Oh no! Standing back from the painting and seeing it from a different perspective, I noticed that some of the dancers' hands and feet were totally out of proportion. Some of their limbs were huge in comparison to the rest of their bodies. At that moment, our spiritual master entered the temple room from the side door. His stance was regal as he positioned himself in the center of the Indian rug and examined my work. I held my breath as I watched him look at it intently. Turning to the 6 of us gathered around, he smiled and said, "Krishna has sent." What? I screeched internally. Krishna personally sent me to him? It's just the opposite. Krishna sent him to me and to all the other souls who so desperately needed him. I was euphoric by his encouraging words, and finally fully confident that forfeiting college was my correct course of action. "Perhaps you can move your painting equipment upstairs to the altar room in my quarters," he asked. I was amazed, but at the same time I hesitated. As much as I wanted to be near him, I was concerned about his health. I replied, "The turpentine fumes are toxic. I think it will bother you." He smiled again, lifted his hand and waved it in the air, assuring me that he would not be disturbed. That afternoon, I moved my equipment into a corner of the altar, near to one of the 2 windows facing the courtyard. The atmosphere upstairs was sacred, quiet, and serene, and at the same time casual. Some of the brahmacharis who lived in the temple room and stored their sleeping bags behind Prabhupada's dais would shower in his quarters, so during the day they would come and go. Gargamuni sometimes did his accounting work there, and Hayagriva also regularly edited Prabhupada's manuscripts in the same area. A few days later, he encouraged me further during his Bhagavad Gita class. There are 8 kinds of images of the Lord recommended in the Shastra, the Vedic literatures, like earth, wood, stone, and metal. So any kind of image can be worshipped because God is everywhere. You may say, why should God be worshipped in images, not in his original spiritual form? Yes, that may be the question. But I cannot see spiritual form, he continued. That is my difficulty. My senses are so imperfect that I cannot see God immediately in his spiritual form. We cannot see just now, with our material eyes, anything besides stone, earth, wood, paint, something tangible. These forms of the Lord are called Archavatar, the incarnations of his form conveniently presented by him so that we can actually see him in this world. It requires qualification to see him as he is. Premanjana churita bhakti vilochanena. If I have developed such consciousness, such love, transcendental love for God, then I can see him everywhere and anywhere, in any place. From a picture, in a statue, within myself, in air, in water, everywhere I can see him. That is the process. I began to appreciate how that same Krishna, who is all-pervading, can be captured on canvas by his sweet will and by the will of his pure devotee. Awesome! Guru Maharaj requested me to paint the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, near the bottom of the painting, just under the feet of Lord Chaitanya and his Sankirtan party. But then, 2 days later, when the painting was almost completed and I was just about to paint the mantra, he called to me through the shared window, "Jadurani." I turned expectantly towards the window. "Don't put the mantra at the bottom." "Why not?" I asked, befuddled. I changed my mind. Lord Chaitanya's feet should not stand above the Hare Krishna mantra. Why not? Wasn't he an incarnation of Krishna? "Lord Chaitanya is Krishna," he answered. "He is not an incarnation. He is the essence of all incarnations, Krishna himself, in the role of devotee. Because he is playing that role, it is not proper etiquette to have Krishna's holy name under his feet." I was glad for the instruction. Though God, Krishna, is one, he is worshipped in a particular way that pleases him according to how he manifests himself. After a few more touch-ups, the painting was complete. Guru Maharaj had it hung in the temple room, to the right of his dais, and that evening in his lecture he once again spoke to me in an intimate way. There were about 60 devotees and guests in the room. I was aware that most of them probably felt the same as I did, that he was speaking directly to them, but this awareness didn't minimize my own experience. The superior brain of the Lord creates nature in such a way, he explained, so that it appears as though it is going on automatically. Don't you see how a flower is beautifully decorated like a painting, and a leaf is perfectly symmetrical? So this is going on automatically. This is God's power. If you want to paint one picture, one flower, you have to give it so much attention. And still it may not be symmetrical. There may be some mistake. I thought about the months leading to my first meeting with him. I had been searching for knowledge, attempting to understand the nature of reality. I was reading authors like Huxley, Blake, Emerson, and Thoreau, and books like Be Here Now and Siddhartha. I'd taken them as a source of illumination. But now, after meeting my self-realized guide in all things, my previous conceptions appeared to be like a shadow in the darkness. Prabhupada posted a Xerox copy of his own handwritten sign on the bathroom door of the temple room. I read through the list a few times. Most of the rules seemed natural enough. Wasting time in idle talk was difficult to understand, though. Why would simply talking about everyday things be detrimental to my spiritual advancement? Thinking hard, I recalled a class wherein Guru Maharaj said that speech is most important in life, both materially and spiritually. As people, we are accustomed to come together and talk among ourselves. But generally speaking, it is without redeeming purpose. Our conversations are rarely of any lasting value. But he had gone so far as to compare such mundane talk with the croaking of a frog, which invites the snake of death to come and swallow it. If our conversations are about Krishna, then Krishna himself becomes pleased and blesses us with immortality. So, the quality of what we say and our intention in saying it does have an impact on our spiritual life. Okay, I resolved, I'll try. I am now reading the notice that was handwritten by Srila Prabhupada. Notice: all initiated devotees must attend morning and evening classes, must not be addicted to any kind of intoxicants, including coffee, tea, and cigarettes. They are forbidden to have illicit sex connections, must be strictly vegetarian, should not externally mix with non-devotees, should not eat foodstuff cooked by non-devotees, should not waste time in idle talks, nor engage himself in frivolous efforts, should always chant and sing the Lord's holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Acharya.